Hello, Griffin artists. Mrs. Hugh here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to draw a rose as if you're looking at a rose from above. Here I have a rose to show you. In our video before, we learned how to draw a rose looking at it from the side. In this video, we're going to talk about drawing a rose from above, or like an aerial view of a rose, looking down on it. And I think a rose is probably one of the most recognizable flowers. And of course, they smell so wonderful. And what is so unique and beautiful and complicated about a rose is all the petals that are coming together into the circle of this rose. And if you put a rose in a vase on your counter, it should, if it's healthy, open up and bloom like that until you see all the petals sort of separating. This rose is just beginning to start separating. And this is the image that we are going to be drawing today. And it seems sort of hard to draw something like that, but there are ways that you can create that in drawing that are very neat. And this is one of those types of drawings where you start with a circle and then you kind of create these layers until you get all the way to the center. And you add your petals, and clearly that is a rose or a beautiful type of flower. So before we start to draw, I thought it might be best if I showed you how to do this on a whiteboard. And I'm going to do this on a larger scale, just so you can see before we start to draw on our paper. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a circular shape. Okay, and then we're going to create kind of a moon inside of our circle, sort of moon shapes or crescents. One on this side, one on this side, and it doesn't matter the size necessarily. They should all be a little bit different. So this is definitely not something that's exact. This is kind of, which is fun about it, is you start to make these crescent shapes all the way around till we sort of get into the center. So you're layering on these kind of crescent shapes evenly from side to side until you're working your way into the center. Do you see what I'm doing? And this is going to take a little bit of practice, and that's good. Practicing is always good. I did not get this on my first try. And so you're creating those sort of layers until you get all the way to the center where you can draw a little circle. And then from there, you'll draw your petals out to the side. It's another petal. So this is sort of the idea or the concept of the type of rose that we're going to draw today. And eventually what it will look like once you've added your color is this type of rose. And this right here would be a very nice card. But once you've learned how to draw this rose, you can make all sorts of different types of cards with it. On this one, for example, I drew the rose on purple paper and then cut those out and cut out leaf shapes and glued them onto this pink heart. And that could be your card. Here's another example of where I drew that type of rose in pencil. Then I went over it in Sharpie, cut those out, cut the shape of a vase out of yellow paper, and then just glued it on. You could say something like, "Mom, I love you bunches." Here is kind of a fun little play on words. I drew the roses and a teacup, which I can show you how to do, on just regular white paper. And then I went in and colored it with a crayon. And then I went in and cut everything out. I glued down this little teacup shape and then the roses on top, almost like a collage. And I thought it would be cute to write, "Mom, you're my cup of tea." Have you ever heard anybody say, oh, that's my cup of tea? That means that's something that they really, really like, because a cup of tea is supposed to be very enjoyable, especially with a cookie. So you would say, that is my cup of tea. Maybe baseball is your cup of tea, or going to the beach, that's just my cup of tea. That would mean that's something that you really enjoy. So it's kind of cute to say, Mom, you're my cup of tea. And here I did the roses again, but instead of using black like I did here to show the petals, I used different colors. So let me show you on the white paper how to draw these roses in these different sizes. Now you can certainly do it freehand like we did on the whiteboard, or you can take items from around your house that have that circular shape, maybe varying shapes, one bigger and one smaller, and you can put those on your page and then trace them. Now I'm going to do this in Sharpie just so you can see what I'm doing, because sometimes the pencil lines don't come out very well in the video. So I took that shape and traced it, and I'm going to take this other smaller shape. It's actually a spice, it's a little spice can, and I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do one large rose and 3 smaller ones for your example here. Okay? So once I have those shapes, and again, you can do that on your own, or you can use a cup or any type of circular shape as your guide. Now I'm going to go in like I did with the whiteboard, and I'm going to make those crescent shapes inside of that circle. And it sort of resembles a basketball there. I guess you could do a basketball card and you could say, Mom, I have a ball with you, or you're a slam dunk mom. That's just how art works. You start one thing and you kind of get an idea for another, and once you learn how to draw a certain shape, that shape can translate, if you can believe it, from a rose to a basketball. That is the beauty of art. So as you see, I'm just going in and I'm going along and I'm making those sort of crescent shapes, connecting, 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 all the way to the middle. And now you've got that layered look that is that aerial view of that rose. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Again, practicing and practicing it is what is going to make you feel like you've really mastered that. And then now you have that drawing skill for the rest of your life. Once you know how to draw something, you'll enjoy drawing it and then perfecting it and doing it different ways for years and years to come. So again, no perfect way. There are no perfect lines in nature. And that's what I love so much about flowers. Okay, so as you see, I just went in. I made all those different layers. And then from here, I'm going to draw my petals. That's sort of the football shape. Do the petal with the pointed ends, and then I make a line down the middle, and I'm going to do these little kind of crease lines that show the pattern of the petal, and I'm just going to do it on one side. And I think doing it on one side is great for this kind of drawing because there are so many lines. So we get the idea that we know that that's a petal, but it's not, our eye isn't confused with lots and lots and lots of lines. So as in this drawing, if you wanted to fill some of the space in between the flowers and the leaves, you can do these fun little swirlies. And I do love to add little dots. And it just kind of fills your page a little bit in your picture. And then from here you would go in and you would choose whatever color you wanted. Blue, red, and you can use crayons or you can use marker. in this picture, my roses are different colors, and actually within one rose, I've got variations of colors. So I did kind of a peachy color on the outside, and then as you work your way into the center of the rose, it's getting into a darker color, which you actually will see in flowers sometimes. And so this is where your own creativity and what you want and the colors that you want, you get to choose, which is a lot of fun. If you like this idea, what you would do is you would take your color paper and do exactly what we did on the white paper, but on the colored paper. And for this one, I'm not going to use any guide, any cups or guides for my circles. I'm just going to do them freehand, and I'm going to make that circle with the crescents that are all kind of circling and circling until they come to the middle. There's my rose, and I'll do another one, maybe a larger one. So I'm doing that right on the red paper, so I don't have to color it red. So that sort of saves me a step. So from here, you would cut those shapes out and then glue them onto your card or onto a vase like I did here, or onto a heart. So you would just go in, and cut that shape out. I did there. And then you would go take a green piece of paper to draw your leaves. I'm liking this already. Again, there's so many ways to do this. And the good news is, no matter which way you choose to do this, and no matter what card you choose to make for your mom or grandma or loved one on Mother's Day, they're going to love it. So here you have that red rose cut out with the green. I love the way that looks. And you could glue that on. You could even just simply take a white piece of paper, fold it in half, do your one rose, and you could even put that on the front with a little poem to your mom. And I hope that this gives you some wonderful ideas for things that you can do to make your mom or grandma's or whoever you'd like to acknowledge on Mother's Day feel special. And they feel special because they love you so much. So whatever you create for them, they're going to love too.